Before you got sick, I bet I can describe you. You were the reliable one, the one who handled things. You pushed through colds, you said yes to everything, you held yourself to a standard nobody else even knew existed. Rest felt like laziness, asking for help felt like failure, and you were proud of all of it. And here's the thing, half of you are still doing it, half right now, running the job, running the family. Even when you're not at full capacity, you're hiding the cost and you're calling it fine. Here's what nobody has told you. That personality and this illness, they're connected. And I don't say that to blame you. I say it because once you see the connection, you can finally use it to your advantage, because the exact traits that ran your body into the ground are the very same traits that can carry you out. It's kind of like having the same engine but with a new steering system. Now today, I'm going to be walking you through the 5 traits we see in almost every single person who develops this condition, whether it's chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, long COVID, post-viral illness, why each one keeps the nervous system on high alert, and what to do with each one so that this works for your recovery instead of against it. And I'm not describing you from the outside. I was you. Before I got sick, I was all gas, no breaks in every single thing I did. And then I spent 8 months bedridden, at my worst being spoon-fed in the hospital while every single test came back normal. I remember being a personal trainer one moment, and the next moment I was stuck in bed, unable to roll over, unable to even feed myself at times. I barely could take showers. Sometimes I would take a shower once every 3 to 4 weeks. My 74-year-old grandma had to come in and brush my teeth for me sometimes. And I was so severe that I didn't think I would ever be able to climb out of the depths of this illness, dealing with over 50 plus symptoms, trying endless treatments that weren't going anywhere, but in fact were making me worse, all while I saw 30 to 40 different specialists who looked me in the eye and told me I was perfectly fine. I remember asking myself, why wasn't I able to solve this and not push through like I did with everything else in life? What was I doing wrong? Why did I keep failing? Because everything else in life, I was so used to just using this warrior, this brute force mentality to push through things and force myself to get what I wanted. However, this time it was actually working against me and I couldn't figure out why. I honestly felt like a failure. I felt like the harder I pushed and the worse I got, the more I was failing. But what finally changed everything was understanding that my body was actually never broken. My nervous system was just stuck in survival mode. And over the past 4 years, I've helped countless people, over 2,000 people in more than 50 plus countries, retrain their nervous systems as well. And in all those people, I kept seeing the same 5 traits over and over and over again. And these are all traits that I had. Now, to be clear about what this video is and what it isn't, your personality obviously did not cause a virus to happen. It didn't cause an infection or a surgery or an injury or a life event or whatever knocked you down. But your personality did build the terrain that the illness landed on. It decided how much pressure your system was under before the hit. And it decides what your nervous system hears from you every day now. So as I go through these 5, don't hear judgment. Don't feel like I'm looking down on you saying, oh, you're doing this wrong and this wrong and this wrong. I'm simply pointing out patterns that I've seen in my own life and what I'm seeing with thousands of other people. I want you to hear the recognition, and I want you to gain the awareness of what's actually happening internally that might be keeping you stuck. And stick around for when I talk about what to do about these, because that's where this can really start to get hopeful and you can start turning this around. Trait number 1 is perfectionism. It's all or nothing. If it can't be done right, why do it at all? And here's what that costs a hypersensitive nervous system. A perfectionist is never actually done. There's always a gap between what happened and what should have happened. And your body experiences that gap as pressure, a low grade around the clock pressure. And to a hypersensitive nervous system, chronic pressure and chronic threat are essentially the same signal. And watch what perfectionism does inside of recovery. It builds the perfect pacing plan, the perfect routine, the perfect diet, and then one off day feels like the whole thing just collapsed and you're back at square one. Does that sound familiar? Now, even though having this trait can work against you, understand that perfectionists are pretty consistent. Like that is like a superpower within that trait. So take the standards off the outcome and put them on the response. What do I mean by that? Be a perfectionist. You can still be a perfectionist. And I would actually encourage you to be a perfectionist about one thing only: responding to symptoms calmly. Don't grade anything else. Don't measure anything else. Done beats perfect in every single corner of recovery. So if you try responding the best you can to symptoms, if you try doing that instead of not trying at all, you're going to start feeling better. You're going to start gaining more energy and having symptoms go down over time. If you want to know why responding well is so important, I have a video up here of what that looks like, what it means, and also why it's so essential in recovery. Now, trait number 2 is people pleasing. Everyone else's needs first. Saying yes while your body is screaming no. Feeling other people's moods like weather. Now, here's the cost though. Every unspoken no is a stress your body has to hold quietly, and people pleasers hold hundreds of them. Your nervous system ends up running a 24-hour surveillance operation on everybody around you. Is she upset? Did I disappoint him? Was that too much to ask? Can I really say no to that thing? I don't want them to think I'm a bad friend. I don't want them to think I'm avoiding them. So I have to keep up. Now, that surveillance is expensive, right? There's a price to pay for that, and you've been paying for it in energy for years. Now, when it comes to recovery, people pleasers, they rest, but they do it with guilt, which barely even counts as rest, right? I wouldn't even count that. They push through family events that they had little to no capacity for, and then they can crash. And then they have a setback quietly, so nobody worries. They don't even talk about it. Now, your sensitivity to others, that is a superpower as well, just like perfectionism, right? And it's beautiful. So aim some of it at the one person that you've been ignoring, right? One honest no this week, said kindly, without a paragraph of justification going on in your head as you run in loops in your mind going through this. Watch what that does to your symptoms. It's a boundary. A boundary is a safety signal that you send yourself. So just focus on one person at a time versus focusing on all these different people. That's going to help simplify things. Now, trait number 3 is this all-in overdrive. It's like the all-in gear, full throttle. You don't do hobbies, you do obsessions, right? You don't work, you grind. Coffee to start, adrenaline to finish, and the calendar is just packed edge to edge. Now, the cost here is simple. A system that never idles forgets how to idle, right? Your nervous system, it spent years learning that the only two speeds are flat out full tilt or collapsed. There was no middle gear. There was no third gear. It was either gear 0 or gear 7. And inside this condition, a hypersensitive nervous system, CFS, long COVID, fibromyalgia, in a lot of ways, this is your body installing an emergency brake because you never installed a normal one. In recovery, this trait shows up as recovering hard, recovering intense, watching all the video modules that you just signed up for on the program last weekend and watching it all in 1 week. It's every technique, every day tracked to the T. Right? Recovery can become like this competitive sport, and you're competing with yourself of how well you can follow it. Now, the drive you have there, that is actually great fuel, and you're going to want that later because rebuilding a life, it does take energy and ambition. But for now, instead of taking a massive bucket of it, for now we just want to pour a teaspoon of it into one thing, and it's practicing that middle gear, that middle ground. It's doing something at 40, 50, 60% effort, 20% effort on purpose and letting that feel like an achievement, being okay with that, being okay not having to go 110%. And for an all-in person, moderation, that is like an elite skill once you can learn how to master that. And by the way, if you are keeping score at home and you've gotten the first 3 so far, and this is describing you to a T, just drop a comment down below and tell me which one stands out the most, which one really runs your life. I read all the comments, and honestly, the comments on these videos are the best proof that nobody is alone in any of this. Now, trait 4 is self-reliance. And I want to actually say extreme self-reliance. You'll help anyone, and you'll accept help from almost nobody. And doing it alone is your default setting, and secretly, that can fuel your pride. I know it fueled my pride. It was very difficult for me to ask people for help, to ask to give me a ride somewhere, or to ask if I could have extra time to do a task or to reschedule something, right? The cost is humans co-regulate. Our nervous systems calm down around people we trust, right? And that's just biology. That's evolution. That's really not a weakness, right? We're designed to operate that way. But a person who never receives support is running through life solo. And a solo threat is the one that can affect you the most because there's another layer on top of all of this. It's the loneliness that comes with this illness because it's not only physically painful, the pain that you're dealing with the symptoms, it's physiologically and emotionally heavy. And in recovery, self-reliance says, I'll go figure this out myself. Another book, another protocol, another year of DIY or doing it yourself. So what this tells me is that you are a resourceful person, but we just need to point that resourcefulness at building support instead of avoiding it and letting somebody come in and potentially help you. Getting connected in communities online like this YouTube channel or free communities inside the Recovery Foundation's Masterclass. It's giving your nervous system the one signal that's probably craving the most, and that's some form of connection, some form of unity in some kind of community, or something opposite of feeling like you're doing this all by yourself. And trait number 5 is probably the deepest one. Your worth got welded to your output. Somewhere along the way, being valuable, being a productive member of society, just being productive overall became the same thing. So rest never felt neutral. Rest felt like disappearing. It felt like being lazy. It felt like, not maximizing your potential as a person. And here's the cost. And I want you to really hear this one. If worth equals output, then this illness didn't just take your energy. It took your claim to even mattering in the world. It took your value in the world. I know that's how I felt, right? There were so many times where I was living life, being a personal trainer, doing big things, or at least I thought they were big things, making an impact. So to go from that to not even be able to feed myself, in fact, ask people to help feed me, I felt like I was almost worthless, as dark as that sounds. And a nervous system that believes its safety in the tribe depends on producing will fight rest like rest is a threat, even when rest is the exact thing that the body is asking for. And this is why so many people who deal with CFS and long COVID, they feel worse, guilt, lying on the couch than pain standing up. Let me say that again. They would rather continue to try and push through, to try to fit in, to try to be quote unquote productive than lie down and rest, right? They'd rather take that pain. Now, reframing the way we can use this to your advantage, this one might take a little bit longer than the other 4 we talked about, but this is the one that can change everything for you. It's practicing feeling valuable or practicing mattering while doing nothing, allowing yourself to have zero output in the day and not doing much and almost allowing yourself to be quote unquote lazy, but being okay with it, right? And that's not just some kind of mindset trick. That is your nervous system retraining at the identity level so that you can actually rest and pump the brakes without actually resting, but feeling all this internal pressure that you should be speeding up and producing and providing. So look at the 5 together: perfectionism, people-pleasing, overdrive, self-reliance, and worth through output. You know what that list actually is? That's a description of a very strong person. Every trait on that list is actually a strength, right? The thing is, it was strength that ran too long in one direction with nowhere to rest. It's almost like redlining the engine of a car. The car was going fast. It was very effective until it wasn't. It was never weakness that got you here. It was actually a strength with no brakes. And that means recovery was never about becoming someone weaker or smaller or less. Recovery is learning to drive the engine that you already have, but this time with steering and brakes this time, versus being a runaway freight that is just reckless. The people I've watched fully recover, they don't lose these traits. They keep consistency, they keep the empathy, they keep the drive, and they keep that resourcefulness, they keep the heart. They just stop aiming all of it at their own destruction, at the cost of their own health. I mean, there are days now where I'll work 12 hours, I'll work 14 hours a day, I'll travel and go nonstop for sometimes weeks on end. In fact, at the time of this video, I just got back from a nonstop 2-week trip to Europe. One of those weeks was in Germany, where I was going nonstop city to city, several hours of train rides a day. I was exhausted. I was even sick, but I was meeting up with our successful thrivers of our clients, of people who recovered. And it's okay to do those things sometimes, but I'm not doing that every single week. I know that's not sustainable. So I know how to use these different personality traits to my advantage, whether I realize it or not. If we're being honest, these are things that I will never be able to completely turn off. These things will sneak back up into my life, but this time I'm able to recognize them and be aware of them. And it's almost like a double-edged sword. It can work for me or against me. And I've learned how to wield that sword so I can use it to my advantage instead of it use itself against me. So if this video resonated with you, and a lot of things are things you actually think about, the things you run into, and this is really describing what feels like your situation, there's a free nervous system health assessment link down below, which is going to show you exactly how these patterns are showing up in your body right now. And also what stage of recovery you're actually in. It takes a few minutes. You don't have to figure this out alone. I always say in my videos, you are a thriver and you are just one mind shift away from living a life with thriving health. And I want to add in this video, you really don't have to do this all alone. There's so many people online getting better on this YouTube channel, in the comments section, in our free communities. And if you did want extra help with our team, just click the link. You could see if you're a good fit to work with us, and we would love to help you go from surviving to thriving and get back to thriving health. Hope this helps. See you in the next video.
I would say that CFS recovery is absolutely the real deal.
I actually felt like somebody had an answer, like somebody explained what was going on, and it all clicked.